What happens if somebody smashes into your home at 2 a.m.? Do you act to defend your family, or do you freeze and worry that the courts might punish you instead? That's the fight behind castle law in Australia. And right now, there are live petitions in 3 states. That's right, 3 states across Australia demanding change. So, why castle law actually matters? Well, let's start with the basics. Politicians like to say Australians already have the right of self defense. That sounds comforting, right? But the truth is actually far more complicated. And here is actually how it really does work in Australia. Under Australian law, you only get to claim self defense if you had reasonable belief that your life or safety was in danger. At first glance, that sounds fair. Nobody wants the law to protect reckless violence. But if you actually dig deeper, you'll see the problem. The test of, well, reasonable belief isn't decided by you, it's the person under attack. It isn't decided by your family, who knew exactly what you faced. It's decided later in a courtroom by prosecutors, judges, and sometimes a jury. And they're looking back with a benefit of hindsight in the calm of a courtroom. They weren't there at 2 a.m. when the glass shattered. They weren't there when your kid screamed, and they weren't there when you had seconds to make a decision. That means every Australian homeowner and renter is left in limbo. You're technically allowed to defend yourself, but whether that defense counts depends on what the legal system decides months later. That's not a guaranteed right. That's a gamble. The risk under the current law, the way things are now, too many homeowners and renters end up in the wrong side of the system. We've seen cases where intruders walk free on bail within hours, while the homeowner is dragged through months and months and months of court hearings. We've seen families spend tens of thousands of dollars on legal fees to prove that they acted in self defense. Even if they win, the damage, well, it's already done. That's why castle law petitions are growing. People want the law to make sense. They want protection, not punishment. And this isn't just about the debate in theory. There are live petitions right now in 3 states. Tens of thousands of Australians have already signed, and more are adding their names to these petitions every single day. Now, before I go on any further, I want to let you know right now that I don't actually have any sponsors. I make these videos because I believe that the truth matters, and I believe that this message needs to get out to as many Australians as possible. If you value this type of work that I'm doing, and if you want these videos to keep coming, I actually need your support. The links are below in the description. You can become a member, grab some Benchrest Marksman merch, like my mug, my t-shirt, or even chip in directly as well. However you do it, it keeps me in the fight. Now, let's actually talk about Victoria. There's a petition in the Legislative Council, petition 683. It closes on the 3rd of November 2025, and it has already got 17,000 signatures at the time of this recording. It was started by Carly, who works very closely with Topher Field, and it is sponsored by Parliament by David Limbrick. And I want to stop here just for the moment. Carly and Topher have been out front working for years, working tirelessly to bring issues like this into the spotlight. They've carried the load when so many others have stayed quiet. They've done the research, they've put the names on the line, and then they've taken the hits so that ordinary Australians could see what actually is really going on. This petition is part of that work. It's not just a piece of paper. It is the result of people who've refused to stay silent while law-abiding Australians get treated like the problem. So if you're in Victoria, adding your name to this petition isn't just about castle law. It's about backing the people who've been fighting for you for many, many years. People like Carly, people like Topher, people who actually have shown up again and again when the rest of the system would rather look the other way. That's why this petition 683 really matters. It is more than just words. It's proof that enough of us stand together, we can force these issues onto the table where politicians can't ignore them. Why this matter in Victoria? Well, home invasions are consistently going up and up and up. Victorians aren't just about stolen property. They leave deep scars. Families come home to smashed windows, broken doors, and ransacked bedrooms. Jewelry and firearms as well, tools, even family heirlooms, gone. Children toys tossed aside by strangers, and cupboards and wardrobes emptied out on the floor. But the damage goes far beyond things that you can actually replace. Parents talk about their kids waking up in the night, screaming, too afraid to sleep in their own rooms, while adults live with constant tension of checking the doors and windows again and again. That's the sense of safety. That's the idea that a home is a place that you can relax. Well, it's gone. And sometimes it's even worse. We've even seen violent offenders arm themselves with kitchen knives, hammers, and even machetes after they force their way inside. People have been tied up in their own homes, sitting in their living rooms, beaten unconscious, and in one of the darkest cases, two Victorians, two children were murdered with machetes inside their own home. That's not a statistic. That's a nightmare that no family should ever face. That's why this petition matters, and it's not about theory. It's about the fact that when criminals smash their way into homes, they don't just steal property, they destroy lives. Victorians are signing petition 683 because they don't want to risk being punished on top of all of that. They want a clear protection strategy put in place. They want the law to back the homeowner and renters, not the intruder who left a trail of destruction behind. Now let's just quickly move over to Queensland, another castle law petition. This is where castle law has really taken off. This petition has been launched on July 3rd, 2025, sponsored by Nick D'Amato, MT from Katter's Australian Party. I had the opportunity to interview him a couple of weeks ago. Make sure you go check out that video. This petition closes on the 24th of October 2025, and it's massive, as now it has more than 82,000 signatures. Queenslanders have signed, and it's really awesome to see. That makes it the largest castle law petition in the country. What it means is that Queensland, Nick D'Amato has been blunt. He represents North Queensland, where rural crime is out of control. Farm theft, stock theft, break-ins, assaults. People in those regions don't feel safe. And look at Cairns, for example. There's just endless amounts of cars being stolen every single day. And homeowners don't trust the law to protect them. As we all know, we can order a pizza faster than the police will arrive. And as we know, police are often minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or even hours away, if they even show up. And when the offenders are caught, they're often back on the streets in days, maybe even hours. The law is seen as protecting criminals more than victims. This petition is direct response to the frustration of tens of thousands of Queenslanders saying, enough, we need castle law. So why does this actually petition really matter? Well, with over 82,000 signatures, the Queensland petition has a real political weight. Politicians can ignore a few hundred signatures, but they can't ignore tens of thousands. This is why the first castle law petition in Australia to break into these kinds of numbers. And it's not just a niche issue anymore, it's mainstream. And what comes next matters even more because it's not just about Victoria, it's not just about Queensland. New South Wales is now in the fight as well. New South Wales Reddick petition. In New South Wales, there's been an active petition in the Legislative Council and it's titled Pass Castle Law Legislation in New South Wales. It was started by Kelly James and is sponsored by John Reddick. It closes on the 30th of October. And so far, well, it's got 8,400 people who have already signed. So if you live in New South Wales, you need to be aware of this and get on there and sign it immediately. So what this petition actually says, well, the petition points out violent crime once again, especially in regional New South Wales. It is to make a blunt point. Police can't be everywhere. When somebody breaks into your house, you're often on your own, and under current law, your rights are weak. The petition calls for a castle law, and it says residents should have the right to defend their homes whenever necessary force is required. That is clear and is strong, and it cuts straight to the heart of the problem. So why does this actually matter in New South Wales? Well, it's exactly the same as Victoria and exactly the same as Queensland. Rural New South Wales has seen spikes in rural crime. Families in those areas already feel like second-class citizens when coming to policing. And now they feel like the law leaves them exposed inside their own homes. This petition is their way of fighting back. And it's not large as Queensland yet, but honestly, it is gaining ground. And every signature adds pressure. So once again, if you live in New South Wales, make sure you click the link in the description and go sign the petition. So let's just step back a little bit and let's look at the big picture. In Victoria, more than 17,000 people have signed. Queensland, 82,000 people have signed. In New South Wales, more than 8,000 people. That's more than 100,000 Australians already pushing for castle law. And that number is still climbing. This isn't just a fringe idea anymore. It's a national movement. Why castle law is really about, well, castle law isn't just about violence. It's not about vigilantes. It's about fairness. And it's about making sure that people who smashes their way into your home is the ones who actually pay the price. Not the homeowner, not the renter, not the family. It's about saying the law should protect the people who follow it, not the people who break in. Right now, Australia law is upside down and it leaves honest, fair families in fear. And it leaves offenders, well, too much room to move. And that's why these petitions are trying to change. So here is actually what you need to do. So honestly, if you live in Victoria, it's simple. jump online, the link is in below, and sign the petition. Queensland, same thing. If you first time you've seen this video or my other videos, you can jump on, sign the petition as well. It's exactly the same as New South Wales. There's plenty of opportunity for you to do so. So the big thing of this video and everything that's going on with these petitions is I'm encouraging you to sign it, share it, and speak up. Because unless we do not push back, nothing will ever change. Because the law should protect the people who follow it, not the people who break it. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and don't forget to check out your ways that you can help me to continue making videos. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.